Hi, my name is Veronica, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation. How did that one do?
That was very good. Let's do it. Just maybe one or two more, okay? Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. Basically, you will end up with a haircut shape up or an edge up. What they do is they tattoo small dots that look like hair follicles in the areas where you have lost your hair and then blend it with your existing hair. You can even choose what type of hairline you want, hard shape up or soft and natural finish. And to maintain it, all you gotta do is shave your hair every few days, which is something you already were probably doing anyway. So if you wanna get this hookup for my brothers out there in the UK and Europe, make sure you check out the Scalp This on Instagram. And for my brothers out there in the States, make sure you go ahead and contact my man Scalp Carolinas on Instagram. And when you go on their pages, you can see for yourself what these guys look like before. I mean, these guys are literally hair magicians. I've never seen anything like this before, but all I can tell you guys is this is a serious game changer for us men. So make sure you get in contact with Scalp This and Scalp Carolinas on Instagram. Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So Billy Joe Saunders, he just recently came out and now he wants to go back to the negotiation table with Canelo Alvarez. He's now telling Canelo, look, man, you give me the money that I want, and if I lose the fight, you don't have to pay me at all. This is pretty much what he said. Now he's saying that he's willing to get in the ring with Canelo Alvarez. But as far as I'm concerned, it's too late now. It's too late. He should have took the fight when Canelo Alvarez offered it to him. But instead he turned it down. He said he wasn't making enough money. It wasn't worth the money that they were offering him. But I'm gonna keep telling these fighters, sometimes you have to bet on yourself. Because if BJ Saunders would have beat Canelo Alvarez, he would most likely get the money that he was demanding for in the first fight. He would get it in the rematch, if not more, if he would have bet on himself. But once again, now that he walked away from the table, I think it's too late now. I don't see Canelo Alvarez or even Golden Boy taking negotiations serious with BJ anymore. This is the second time that BJ walked away from a great opportunity. He did the same thing with Gennady Golovkin. Team Golovkin, they offered BJ Saunders a fight in 2016. BJ, he turned down the fight saying he wasn't making enough money. Then all of a sudden, after a year, BJ, he changed his mind. He was willing to fight Golovkin, but then it was too late. So I really just wanted to go ahead and give you guys the backstory to BJ Saunders before I get into what he actually said about Jermall Charlo. So when BJ Saunders said that he's willing to fight Canelo, and if he loses to Canelo, then they don't have to pay him. He said this on one of his social media sites. So what happened was, you know how fans are always responding to what he just said. One guy responded by playing a clip of an interview of Jermall Charlo that was a long time ago, where in that video, Jermall, he calls BJ Saunders complete trash. So when he did that, BJ Saunders, that actually triggered something to get him to react, and he responded, and this is what he said about Jermall Charlo, or to Jermall Charlo. Quote, "You big bum, you won't box no one. I don't even know which mistake of a brother you are, but I'll slap you, boy." End quote. Now, first of all, since it's already gonna be on a whole lot of people's mind, the fact that BJ Saunders just called Jermall Charlo a boy, and what was he really implying when he said it? I'll put it this way, it's just as simple. If BJ Saunders has never went on the internet and called any other fighter who's not black a boy, shut up boy, I'll do this, etc., etc., if he's never done that, and Jermall Charlo is the first, then we know what time it is. Now, if there's a record of him calling other people that's not black boys, then we know it wasn't intentional. But there's a bigger issue when it comes to what BJ Saunders just said right now. Because he says things like, Jermall Charlo, you won't fight no one. You're a bum. We know when he says things like this, he's repeating decaf talking points. But see, this is the problem when you actually have a name, when you're a professional boxer and people know who you are. See, you can't repeat what you hear decafs on the internet say because they remain anonymous and they're irrelevant. They hide behind a computer screen or behind their phone typing away. We don't know who they are. And they're certainly not professional boxers, so we can't compare. They can't be compared to Jamal Charlo. And if Charlo wanted to call that person out, he can't even call them out because they're not boxers. But this is the problem when BJ Saunders tries to repeat those talking points, is we know who he is, right? So my thing is, what is the purpose of saying Jamal Charlo won't fight no one, but yet you're not willing to get in the ring with him? What's the purpose of you calling him a bum, but you won't fight him? What kind of sense does that make? And furthermore, since we're talking about BJ Saunders repeating decaf's talking points, something else the decafs love to say when they're trying to protect Canelo Alvarez from a Jamal Charlo, they always try to say, well, look at his resume. Look at Jamal Charlo's resume versus Canelo's, right? Et cetera, et cetera. Let me make this clear and educate you fans. You cannot compare a fighter that's been avoided by everyone to a fighter that everyone wants to fight. You can't compare their resumes. I mean, it's almost like challenging someone to a race just because you know that they're tied up and they can't run anywhere. So of course you're going to win the race every single time because you're at a massive advantage. So if you're going to compare two fighters' resumes, you have to compare two guys that are in the same situation, have the same options. So it would make more sense to compare Canelo Alvarez's resume to a Gennady Golovkin's resume because both of them were in a position to fight whoever they wanted to. Fighters on the Black Murderers Row, they didn't have that luxury and they still don't have it today. So this is just so unfortunate because if BJ was willing to fight Jamal Charlo, then we could say, oh man, that's some great trash talk. I can't wait to watch this fight. But once again, what is the purpose of trash talking? Calling this man boy and he's a bum and et cetera, when you're not willing to get in the ring with him. BJ Saunders, he never wanted any smoke with Jamal Charlo, with Demetrius Andrade. He had an opportunity to fight Canelo or even Gennady Golovkin, but he screwed up by turning the fights down. Jamal Charlo, he already said he's willing to go up to 168. So after doing all that, calling Jamal Charlo a bum, he won't fight no one, now there's really no excuse for BJ Saunders to turn down a fight with Jamal Charlo. So if Jamal gets past Sergey Derevyanchenko, there's nothing in the way. There's nothing blocking that fight from coming to fruition when it comes to Jamal Charlo versus BJ Saunders. And it's sad because Charlo versus Saunders will be a great fight. But I think it's highly unlikely that it happens. And it's kind of surprising because BJ Saunders has signed a contract to fight Demetrius Andrade, which a lot of people believe is actually better than Jamal Charlo. So that leads me to believe there is still a possible chance that BJ would be willing to fight Jamal Charlo one day. I hope it's soon. I really hope it's soon. So let's see if Jamal Charlo actually responds to what BJ Saunders just said about him. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
You know, I always say on this channel, pay-per-view fights should actually be free. And now the day has come where I'm about to hook you up with an app where you can watch all your pay-per-view events, boxing, UFC, etc. for free. I want to introduce Block TV, the best internet streaming television app out there. They provide over 3,600 channels including HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, and Stars. They have a massive video on demand library with over 40,000 of the new release movies and the latest TV series. And it also includes DVR, so you're getting all of this for $34.99 a month, and once again, that includes free pay-per-view. So this one right here is a no-brainer, guys, because back in Las Vegas, I was paying damn near $200 a month for my cable. Those days are long gone now. So to get the app, make sure you guys go over to getblocktv.com and put in my promo code and get 30% off your first month. You also get a free month for every friend you refer. The promo code is DBNation.